Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. For today's Quran exploration, we're going to be doing Surah Al-Ma'un. I know last week kind of talked about whether we want to do longer surahs or not. We will, inshallah, just it takes a little longer to prepare for those. So hopefully, I'm hoping that within the next 2-3 weeks, we'll do a long surah. But for now, let me Surah Al-Ma'un. So as usual, I'm going to read the surah and then the literal translation of the ayat, and then from there we'll talk about the implication on our life. So بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون صدق الله العظيم. So the literal translation of the ayat go as follows. Have you seen him who denies religion? It is he who thrusts the orphan away and does not urge others to feed the needy. Woe then to those who pray but are heedless of their prayers, who put on a show of piety but refuse to give even the smallest help to others. So when you start off the surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, have you seen him who denies religion? He asked a question for everyone to think about, catches the people's attention. Have you seen him who denies religion? So people are waiting, what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talking about? Who is this person? Who are these people that deny religion? And then he goes in and says, it is he who thrusts the orphan away and does not urge others to feed the needy. Okay, these are the characteristics of a person who does not believe in religion, does not believe in Islam. And this examples of thrust the orphan away, does not urge others to feed the needy, these were actions that were done during the time of the Prophet Muhammad from by Quraysh. These were very common things. And he brings those people as an example, that these are people that deny religion. But there's even a bigger meaning behind it, in that you see more clearly in the ayat that follow. Woe then to those who pray, but are heedless of their prayers, and who put on a show of piety. What you see is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, yes, you'll have a person that goes and prays. You have a person that will seem as if he is very pious. But what? It is just putting on a show. They're not actually praying to the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're not actually doing it for the right intention. And this is actually one of the most dangerous sins that we can get involved in. And what it also builds a concept that we have to know in Islam is what? Our actions have to be, our intentions have to follow our actions as well. It means whenever we do an action, we have to make sure our intention is also in that correct path, in line with the action that we do. And this act of showing off to others is unfortunately very common nowadays. A person might act differently. For example, you might in your own time, you might have very short salats, very short prayers. But then when you go to the masjid, your prayers are elongated. You take your time during the salah. What is the intention behind that? What is the reason behind your prayer? Is it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or is it sake for showing off to people that mashallah, this person is very pious? Or say about me, I'm the president of the MSA. I'm giving the Qur'an exploration right now. Am I doing this to show off to everyone? Or am I doing this so I can be put on YouTube? Or am I doing this so I can educate both myself first and foremost and everyone here? What is the intention behind the action? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He explicitly talks about those people that do not follow their intentions with their actions. And guess what? The problem is, it's not something that a person can come and tell you that your intentions don't follow your actions, because no one here knows a person's intentions. This kind of problem, unfortunately, you won't have someone to tell you, you are facing this issue. Fix it yourself, fix it. This is something that you yourself have to look and ponder about. That's something that only you can find out, something that only you can tell. Are my intentions actually clear for this purpose, for this action? No matter how close friends you may be with someone, they will never know your intentions. And that's why when you do your actions, you have to contemplate upon yourself. It's a duty upon yourself. It's something that you have to do on your own. No one's going to be able to help you with it. 2, adjust your intention to make sure it's according to Islam for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not just to show off to others. And then the very last ayah says, but refuse to give even the smallest help to others. Now, another common link we see in this surah is that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings up the idea of your intentions not following your actions, and then He also brings up the idea of how people they throw away the orphans and they don't urge others to feed the needy, and they don't give the smallest help to others. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the very first word in the ayah is what? Have you seen him who denies religion? When you think of religion nowadays, do you think religion entails your whole way of life? Or does religion kind of just entail the prayer that you do? Just the 5 salawat, psalm here and there, hajj, just as basic beliefs. Is that what religion is? Because that's what we kind of hear, right? We hear religion is blind faith in schools. We hear that religion just entails my own beliefs. Here in the Constitution in the United States, separation of church and state. Your religion just has nothing to do with your way of life. But what do we see? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, have you seen him who denies religion? And then continues listing off things that include how you conduct your way of life. It's hitting upon the point that what? Islam, unfortunately, we can't think of it as just a religion. Religion is a very badly translated word. It's a way of life. Everything from A to Z has to be according to Islam. Yeah, it just has to be. That's what religion is. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us. And there's a hadith, I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't have the exact wording because it just came to mind. But where the Prophet Muhammad saw Rabi' ibn Amr, which I believe, or to say a Sahabi, had a gold cross around his neck. And then he told him, throw away this cross away from you. Throw away this cross. And then he recites the ayah of the people who took, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, they took the rabbis and monks as their gods. And then the Prophet Muhammad commented on it, because what you would think is that, how does a person take a rabbi or a monk or a priest as a god? That doesn't make sense. You know, you can't take a person as a god. It's not like they're worshiping them. They're worshiping the god of whatever that religion may be. But then the Prophet Muhammad comments and says, is that whatever the rabbis and monks made permissible for them, they made permissible for themselves, and whatever they made unlawful for them, they made it unlawful for themselves. That's what worship is. That's what taking something as God is to conduct your life according to what they say. That's Islam. Islam, we conduct ourselves according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us. And in exchange, we get Jannah. That's what we get in exchange. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the Qur'an. He gave us the whole cheat sheet. Qur'an and the Sunnah. Literally the Qur'an. Everything that you need to know in the Qur'an. How you want to enter Jannah, it's right there. So, in conclusion, there are kind of three points that we kind of hit on. The first one is just commenting upon the idea of that your intentions have to follow, your actions have to follow suit with your intentions. That means when you do an action for the sake of any action, whether it's salah, helping another person, whatever it may be, your intentions have to be also in accordance. 2, this kind of intention being has to be correct for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can only be fixed by you. Can only be fixed by you. Because unfortunately no one else is going to be able to know your true intention. So that's something you have to contemplate upon yourself. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings it in a form of question, the very first one. Have you seen him who denies religion? Bring in a question format. Because so you yourself can ponder upon yourself, am I part of this category? And third thing is that Islam is a way of life. Islam is a way of life. It's not just something that we separate from our life, separation of church and state, where we only focus on the religious, spiritual aspect of it, but we don't focus everything else in our life. Our whole life from A to Z has to be according to Islam. And yeah, I mean, there is a lot more to the surah. I mean, we can look into, this tafsir can go very long in any surah actually, and I never do justice enough for any of the surahs that I do for tafsir. But for now, I'll end the tafsir of Surah Al-Ma'un right here. Are there any questions?